that's already been set up. Although, I mean, some of them do look really nice, but I know what you mean. You kind of see that and go, oh, everybody has that. Whereas if you can just take a few minutes to pull your brand colors in and choose a font and be a bit more consistent, then it looks like an original piece instead of a template. So
totally, yeah. But no one else will even notice that. But that's just the designer in me. I'm like, I'm always obsessed to get their brand in. Like, it doesn't even have to be because do you do like a layout on your grid? Do you do like a set, like picture, quote, picture, or do you kind of freestyle it?
I've tried both. So with my other brand, the wedding and family stuff that I've had for ages, I've tried everything in the book. I've tried like really being careful. I've tried being really random. I've tried playing with black and white and color and things. Now I kind of have a set way that I like it to look, but I think for photography that's more important than other industries because people, they just want to see what I can do, and if it doesn't kind of match or have a nice look to it and flow together, it's not that visually appealing. Whereas I think if you have a business that's not photography or video or something that's solely visual, you can kind of have more fun with it. For my small fish brand, I kind of have an idea in my head. So I'll do like 3 photos that I've taken for business owners. Then I'll have a meme or a quote. Then I'll have a picture of me or a video of me if I've recorded something. And then I'll have text again. So I kind of, my 6 little squares are always like that. So I've only just started doing that and we'll see how it works. I think it looks nice when you look at the feed, but I also don't know how often people actually click and look at your Instagram profile. So
that is so true.
I used to know.
Yeah, I did used to be like really strict with the podcast, and then I realised I wasn't actually posting loads of stuff that I could have been posting, like the behind the scenes stuff, and me going to like Glasgow or Edinburgh, or me actually speaking to the people, because I was so locked into this like episode, quote, picture, and then another whatever else it was. Like there was only 4 posts a week that I could do because I was so like I was mad, like it was too much. But yeah, I think it's nice to have a bit of branding in there and a bit of kind of like bit of colour and something to break up all the pictures. But yeah, I think it's so easy to get so sucked into it.
You can get quite picky like that, where you're like, oh, I can't share this. So again, with the photography, I always worry that if I share behind the scenes stuff on my feed, people will think that that's my professional work. So what I do instead is I share my behind the scenes stuff in my stories. So if I'm taking pictures of like, I'll probably screenshot us talking, that's something that I might share in my story rather than on my actual feed, because obviously it's just a screenshot. Or if I'm taking pictures with my phone, I normally don't put that on my feed either. But I think different things work for different people, and it's like trying not to stress too much about it, because I think that matters less than we think it does.
Totally. Yeah, I don't think anyone else, like I don't think potential, well maybe, I don't know for you maybe because it's like so visual, but like most people are not going to look at your Instagram and choose not to work with you because your grid's a bit random. Like I think if they like you and they like what you do, like it's not the be all and end all.
No, and I think if that was someone's reason for not wanting to work with me, they're probably not my client anyway, because that's probably a fair way to look at it.
Yeah.
I didn't give you this question ahead of time, so I'm putting you on the spot a little bit. But I thought, since we're talking about branding, do you have, I know that you work with tons of local businesses, so not to pick one, but just, is there a brand that you think does their branding really well? Is there a brand, whether it's like a big company or a really small business or somebody in the middle, is there someone who you think just kills it with their branding?
Ooh, let me think. Do you know what? There's so many, like, even just local to me, there's so many, like, amazing ones. There's one, Kangas Coffee House. So I interviewed Kirsty from Kangas. She was my second interview, maybe, for the podcast, and their branding is absolutely amazing. I don't know if you've ever seen them on Instagram or that, but they're a coffee shop in Kirkcaldy. They're closed down just now with all this going on, obviously, but since they opened, they have literally nailed their branding. Like, it's so cool. So I remember when they opened, I was driving past one day, and there's this road with like a few shops on the side that you would never look at. Like, you would literally never look that way. I pass it so much and I never looked at it. And then one day I just seen this bright yellow shop, and they'd painted it obviously, and it was so like neon yellow, and that's just like everything they do is so bright and so fun, and they're so good. They're like their gift vouchers are like wee poker chips, and they've got loyalty cards. Oh, what I've got it there, devotion club. Was it devotion card? Devotion club instead of a loyalty card. So it's just loads of fun stuff like that. So yeah, I would probably say Kangas. I think they're doing it well.
So I guess my follow-up to that then is, do you think, are the brands that stand out in your head the ones that really just do things their own way, that don't blend in, that, yeah,
I love that. And you know, speaking about them again, it's not even just like their logo and stuff, it's everything they do on social media. Like they do, if you follow them on Instagram, they do these songs, so they could be singing about like pies or something, they could be singing about anything. I think they're both like actors or in like musical theatre, or like they're so talented. So they're always like got their wee ukulele and they're like singing, and everything they do is just so fun and so like they just don't care about what anyone else thinks. But yeah, I think if you just do what you want to do and kind of do things your own way, I think that's always going to get you noticed, rather than feeling that you have to blend in. Because I did that at the start with my stuff. I thought, oh, I need to be like, there's a lot of designers that are like really light colours and they look really professional and slick, and that's like totally no me. So I came out with this bright bold pink, and I was like, maybe that's too much. And like I go on Instagram and talk about everything and anything. Like I'm not, sometimes my mum's like, should you be talking about that? Is that professional? But I think if that's who you are, you've got to just be authentic, and I think people like that more.
Well, and I think especially for small businesses, it's so important to stand out, because you are your brand. And I say that all the time to clients, like whether or not we love being on camera, there's a reason I chose, to be on the other side of the camera. I don't love it either, but people want to see more of you. And whether that's visually seeing your face or getting an idea of your personality. And I'm kind of the same. I'm quite open and honest about how I feel. I try not to be too opinionated if I can manage it, because it's easy to fall into that. But I do try and be like just who I am. And I'm quite a relaxed, kind of approachable person. I don't take life too seriously, I don't think. And those are the kind of people I like to work with. So I guess that's the thing to remember. It does take some guts to just be yourself and do things totally different, to kind of leave the muted colors and pick the big, bold, bright one. But that does make you stand out, and it attracts like-minded people. And realistically, you want a smaller group of followers that are really sort of like-minded. Like you want your people. You don't want everyone in the world following you and getting no engagement on your social media or getting no work out of it because they're not your people.
Yeah, no, it's so true. It's better to have a smaller group of people who really understand you and like what you do and get involved. Like when I'm being an idiot on Instagram stories, I get so many responses from people like just going along with it, and we have like the best chats. So yeah, I think don't be too worried about being professional and really polished all the time. People don't like that. People want to see the person.
Yeah, and it also makes you more relatable, because unless you're someone who's super polished, like these kind of what do they call them, Instagram influencers that have millions of followers, and they've got full hair and makeup and perfect lighting every time they go on camera. I don't know about you, but I can't relate to that. So when I see that, I go, oh yeah, that looks really nice, it's really polished, but would I ever hire that person or book that person or whatever they do? Probably not, because I can't relate to them. I want to work with people that seem similar to me or have a similar life or similar challenges. And so yeah, I totally agree. I think the more you can just be yourself, the better that actually works for your business.
Yeah, someone messaged me the other day on Instagram and said I'd influenced them to have beans on toast for their lunch because I kept posting about my beans on toast. And that was me. I was like, say, that's the kind of influencer I want to be.
Brilliant. I love it. Well, and it makes social media more fun too, and you can do a mix of like, I don't like feeling like it's work all the time, so I love when people share little bits from behind their scenes. I really love the Glasgow Soap Company. I really love their Instagram because they do such a good mix of showing like how they make their products, what the products look like after, but they'll just randomly post a picture of their kid or a video. Yesterday, they posted one, and they've got a son who I'm not actually sure how old he is, but
young, it's so cute.
He's so cute. You know what I mean? So they posted one, in case anybody's listening to this way after the current time. We're in the middle of lockdown in the UK right now. We're on week 4 thanks to this coronavirus pandemic. And they asked their son, what do you think of the coronavirus? And he went, shite. And then they went, what do you think of the pandemic? And he went, shite. And I thought, that's brilliant. That's just what I needed today. Something funny and lighthearted. And
yeah, those are the accounts that I love to follow, the ones who are just being like totally real and a bit funny, and it's not all serious. So yeah, I love that.
Totally agree. Okay, so I should probably start wrapping up here, I think. I wanted to ask you, I'm going to ask this question at the end of every episode because I think it's a super interesting one and it's really different for everyone. So what is the one thing that you wish you knew before you started your business? So in other words, what did you learn the hard way and wish that you hadn't?
Oh, you know what? I've actually kind of spoke about the one that I was thinking, so I'll pick another one. But the main one I was thinking was underpricing myself. I think I learned that really quickly and really the hard way, but I've kind of covered that. But another one I would say is to take time off for yourself. So in the beginning, I was working, probably because I was underpricing myself. So to make money, I was having to work so hard, and I was working like all day, every day, never taking weekends or anything. And I burnt out really quickly, and I started to hate what I was doing really, really quickly. And since then, I've probably done that for a few months, and then I take weekends off. I never work weekends. I very rarely check emails at night. I've turned off all my notifications for emails on my phone, so I'm not like worrying about them all night. I'll deal with them in the morning. But yeah, I think that's the one. Give yourself some space because you will burn out quickly.
And it's so hard when you're self-employed because you don't have, I mean, you can create set hours for yourself. Like you're saying now you've learned, okay, weekends are off, but it's not the same as an office. When you know, if you work in an office, you're there 9 to 5 and at 5 o'clock your day ends and you go home and you have a change of scenery. But especially when you work from home, it's really hard to stick to your hours. And I'm guilty of, I'm still quite bad about that. Actually, I'll be up late, like editing on the laptop or, doing things on the weekend that I shouldn't be doing. So I think your tip about turning the notifications off on your phone is quite a good thing. And just
it's so good. You should do it.
It's a big difference. And I think it's just being disciplined as well, that when it's your time off, let yourself have that time off, because you're right, otherwise you burn out and you're going to end up hating what you're doing, which is too bad because you've left something that you hated doing to follow a dream. You don't want to end up hating that too.
Yeah, because you go into your own business because you want the time to like do the things you love and you want to be able to just take time off. But I think in the beginning, most people don't do that. They just end up boxing themselves into working 24/7. And then you've got people on Instagram saying you've got to keep hustling and keep on grinding. And like, when I first started taking weekends off, I felt terrible because everyone on Instagram was like, oh, Saturday and Sunday working, like why could be watching TV but I'm working, and I'm like, oh, I feel terrible, but it's not sustainable to keep doing that.
And I think it depends on what kind of lifestyle you want. And I mean, if people want to work 24/7 so that they get a bit further ahead or whatever, that's fine if that's what they want to do. But it's that whole work-life balance thing, and like, do you want your whole life to be about work, or do you want to also be able to do the things you enjoy in your downtime? So I also think what I always have to remind myself of is a lot of people aren't very honest on their Instagram, and they will just post what they want everyone to think. So I mean, even if people are saying they're doing that and working 24/7, we don't actually know that they are. So I try to take that stuff with a grain of salt, but I know I've fallen into that too and thinking like, oh, am I not working hard enough? But we are.
Yeah, so that's why I love it when people do share like what they're doing at the weekends or when they're kind of taking time off. So you don't feel like everyone's just working and getting ahead of you while you're chilling. But nah, I think you've got to be honest on social media, and I hate that just fake persona, like, oh, I'm doing so well. Look how good I'm doing. I can't do that. I like real life.
Same, and that's not for me. And I think those people, you know, certain people might be really drawn to that, but those aren't my people, and I'm the same. I'm not drawn to that either. I like the kind of open and honest